this environmental disaster, perhaps also a legal one for the oil company BP. And joining us on the telephone to talk about it is David Guest. He is a lawyer for Earthjustice Legal Defense Fund. Mr. Guest, welcome to Bloomberg.
Thank you.
So what would actually have to be proved in order to make this a criminal case against BP? What's the process?
Well, obviously, there's a thorough investigation. Two basic ideas are out there. One of them is if there had been false statements made by BP or its officers regarding safety or compliance with rules. There's some evidence and some reports that that has taken place. Under the Clean Water Act, if they behave negligently and cause a spill, there's $25,000 a day, but the responsible corporate officer could get a year in jail. Knowing violations, 3 years in jail. Knowing endangerment of other people, which is a possibility, is 15 years in jail. Other statutes have lesser consequences, and you still have the standard criminal things that are out there. Something like the nightclub fires where people get killed, they get charged with negligent homicide. Those are all possibilities out there, and they're all very serious.
David Guest, I'm sure you heard a lot of the testimony before Congress. Can any of those statements, would they be used in any kind of criminal proceedings?
Unless they were immunized, they could be used, and I don't believe they were immunized.
And did you understand that some of the other oil companies involved in this leak coming from the Gulf of Mexico, whether it be Transocean or Cameron, are you seeing any discrepancy in the information that they're giving versus what we're hearing from BP?
Well, there certainly is a conflict about exactly what happened and who is responsible. Making a false statement to the FBI will get you in jail. You can get 5 years in prison for that.
Now, you've been also following the information that has been given from the people that were rescued from the Mikado oil tower there in the Gulf of Mexico. Is any of that information possible to be used in a criminal case?
Absolutely. Some of the information that I've seen publicized on television indicates that there were knowing violations of safety rules. If those statements were true, they were knowing violations. And
have you heard anything from BP that would give you any indication as to what they're doing to help in the criminal investigation?
There's been radio silence from them, and I think that's typical for people that can anticipate a criminal investigation.
Now, as a longtime environmental litigator, what would you advise the companies involved right now to do? Should they be doing more in terms of helping the government, helping Attorney General Eric Holder?
I think the wisest thing for any corporation in this situation is to cooperate fully and just lay their cards down on the table and tell the complete truth. That's the very best thing to do, but that's the hardest thing for a corporation like this to do.
What do you think is happening in offshore oil drilling? We know we've got a moratorium going on right now. Are there going to be new strictures put in place?
I think it's a high likelihood that the safety rules by MMS are going to be reviewed and strengthened. I think that the administration of MMS, the regulatory side, is going to change completely, and frankly, it's about time.
And is there any jurisdiction that the state governments would have in a criminal case?
Of course, there is a possibility, except the acts that took place were out in federal waters, so they're affecting state waters. I would hope that the states would not get into it, because that would be competing jurisdictions and, immunity and things like that. I think this is better off in the Justice Department.
All right, I want to thank you very much. David Guest coming to us from Earthjustice Defense League.